Now back to the Brian Zimmerman Show. Here's Brian.
And welcome back to another episode of the Brian Zimmerman Show, where I share personal tell-all stories and revelations on my good and bad experiences in sales, music, marketing, and in radio. My special guest today is the creator and host of the highly acclaimed Rock and Roll Research podcast, and he's also a pretty good drummer as well. My pleasure to welcome to the podcast, Matt Valle. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Thanks so much, Brian. I'm super excited to be on this side of the microphone. So thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, the last time that we spoke, I was on your podcast.
That's right. And you were a hell of a guest too.
Back in the end of 2023, I think it was.
Yeah, great episode. We were talking some shredding guitar at the time.
Yep.
Some insights and sales strategy, all kinds of good stuff. So great to be chatting with you again.
Honored to be on that. You've been doing your podcast now for about 5.5 years.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Still going strong today.
Still going strong. I mean, it's super nichey and everything, but but hey, people are tuning in, so I keep making new episodes.
That's all that matters. What is your favorite episode, or some of your favorite episodes?
You know, that is a really tough question. I get asked that question from time to time. And I have to be honest, I love all the episodes. I know that sounds like a cop-out, right? But I love discovering this knowledge of people in the industry that I didn't previously know. So let me answer it this way. I'll tell you who's the most watched episode, right? And I could tell you it is one of the best. Her name is Elisa Ben. She was the head of analytics for a media agency. But she tells this great story when she was in college. She was a radio host, and somebody had said, "Hey, there's this band here," and she was living in Oklahoma, going to Oklahoma. So it said, "Hey, there's this band of high school kids. They're looking for a band manager." And she took it on, and it was the All-American Rejects, who have had several platinum albums, top hits, Billboard charting hits. And she became their band manager for years, until they were just on the cusp of signing a major label deal, and the band manager for Green Day swept in and said, "Hey, I want to manage these guys." Wow. And she lost her job after she did all of the toil and all the hard work.
Oh, man.
All of the driving the van in the middle of the night and all that kind of stuff. And it was just a crushing story, but she told it with aplomb, and it was just a really super fun episode. There are lots of other great episodes, people who are wiffle ball champions and Elvis impersonators and elite athletes and a lot of things much more mundane, but I like them all the same.
Cool. I'll have to check that episode out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's no shortage of people and insights that have these crazy backgrounds.
Well, that's the uniqueness of your show, right? You have all these different people in the market research industry, but you also shine a light on their other backgrounds besides market research. So
yeah, exactly.
And you recently posted on LinkedIn, I think not too long ago, that I was one of your most watched episodes. I think it was among the top 10, and I think I was really surprised and shocking to hear that, because I never ever imagined to be in the top 10, let alone being one of the most watched. So that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, very cool. Hey, you know what? Sometimes people want to get their shredding guitar fix. So
that's it. That's what it's all about, Matt. And a little fun fact that some of you may not know, who's listening out there, that the music intro to your podcast is actually taken from a music sample from your old band, right? State of Mind, is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we recorded that song for a record. We got signed to a record deal when I was 17. The album came out when I was 18. I was a senior in high school. And that was one of our songs. It was called Weight of the World. And I thought, as I was starting the podcast, I need bumper music.
Yep.
I don't want to get into any trouble, so I'll just use a song that we wrote.
Right.
That keeps us pretty clean, right?
That's pretty awesome. Always trying to figure out what the, that sort of intro music should sound like or should be, right?
Yeah. That was an easy one.
My intro is actually, believe it or not, is my radio broadcasting teacher, Bill Singer, the late Bill Singer, who recorded that intro that I actually used on my radio show when I was doing radio back in the day. So
yeah,
I wanted to match
I
it
really
up.
love it because it's a real earworm, and he's got that beautiful professional radio voice.
Yeah, that real deep
Brian Zimmerman show.
Yeah, that real deep voice, right? So you and I are both musicians, right?
Indeed.
I'm a guitar player. You're a drummer. At what age did you pick up the sticks?
I guess I was 13, I want to say. And I have a brother that's 1 year older than me. His name's Mike. We started at the same time. So I started on drums and he started on guitar. Mm-hmm. The whole idea, of course, was to start a metal band. That was why we started playing. Yeah. We had heard Metallica. So this is, it must be 85, because I remember when Master of Puppets came out, but we had Ride the Lightning. We were listening to Slayer and bands like that. Sort of the extreme, the thrash metal of the mid 80s. And we just absolutely fell in love with it. And it's like, oh my God, we got to start a band and play this. So that was the idea. It was very easy. We both got lessons at the same music store, and my parents would drive us and drop us off on a Tuesday night. Yeah. And he got much better than I did, much faster. I remember my mom was, because, hey, she hears all of my practice, right? So I had my drum kit in the basement, and after a couple of months, she told me, she was like, "Oh dear, I don't know if Matt's gonna actually keep up with this."
Right.
But I broke through, and yeah, it worked out.
You had to have a backup plan, a plan B.
No, I did not have a plan B. So I guess plan B would be no music performance in my life. That would have been plan B.
Was your brother in the band too, or?
Oh yeah. So it was a 3-piece, and that band. So that riff in my opening music, my brother plays it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite drummer?
Wow, good question. I'd say the one that put me over the top that said, "That's it, I need to start playing drums," was Neil Peart from Rush. And so interesting, the news this week, which you might have heard, is Rush is going back on tour with, they've announced Annika Nils as the drummer. I couldn't believe how good of a choice that was. Stylistically, temperament-wise, everything, she is a really good fit. And I can't wait to see her play Neil stuff. But back to your question, I guess I would say historically Neil Peart, Dave Lombardo for thrash metal, and then I really like it. Punk rock is kind of my bailiwick now. Bill Stevenson from the Descendants, and then Chuck Biscuits, who played in Circle Jerks and Danzig and a few other bands and everything. I'd say those are probably my biggest influences.
Right. Cool. First concert. Remember your first concert?
I do. The first one I ever went to, because my parents took me there, was the Oak Ridge Boys, if you remember that country outfit.
Played them many times on my show.
The first one that was ever self-directed by me, like, "Hey Mom, I really want to go to this concert," and my aunt took me to it. It was Men at Work.
Okay.
It was a great show too.
Not a bad choice.
I still love them to this day.
What about your first record you bought or was given to you?
First record I bought, believe it or not, other than the ones like the first one I ever went in with my allowance and bought with my own money. So this skips past like Kiss Destroyer, which I know that you were a fan of.
Right. Remember that.
But that was stuff like gifts from parents. Plunked my own money on the counter for Toto 4. That was the first album I ever bought.
All right. And I'm sure you're a big Kiss fan as always. Have you ever gone to any Kiss shows?
I have actually never seen Kiss live.
I have never seen Kiss live. I'm shocked.
I missed my opportunity, believe it or not.
Wow.
So
okay. I thought maybe you had some Kiss shows in your concert going experiences. No.
You know what? What happened for me is I was listening to like Rush and Deep Purple one day, and then discovered Metallica and Slayer, and I kind of skipped over everything in between. And I just, as soon as I heard thrash metal, I was like, that's it for me. That's what I'm doing. And that's all I did for a few years.
Right.
So I had blinders on, and I did some really good stuff as a result, I think.
Well, I've got to ask you about your signature glasses. I'm sure there's a story behind that, right? You always have different colors in your episodes. So what's the story behind those?
I guess the story is if I didn't lose my hair, then maybe I wouldn't have a whole bunch of different pairs of glasses, right?
Is that it?
So, actually what happened is I would obviously I need corrective lenses. And over the years, I would go through long stretches where I would either wear contacts for like 4 or 5 years straight, and then I'd start wearing glasses, and I do that for like 3 years. And glasses used to be expensive, but a couple things happened. One is I need bifocals now, and the contacts just don't work for me. I've tried them, the bifocal contacts, but they don't work. And now glasses are so cheap. Like you go to zenny.com, for example, it's the site that I use mostly. I go to buy a new pair and I buy 5 because it's not so expensive, and it's like, oh, I like that color too. So that's kind of how it works.
You should come out with your own signature line.
That would be very cool, actually. I would love to do that.
Well, let's talk about research. You and I are both worked in research. I'm interested to know your perspective on the impact of AI. AI is dominating not just market research, but a lot of different industries today. Both pros and cons, because at the end of the day, nothing can take away the human element, the human part of the research, right? What is your perspective on AI?
I think AI by and large is a force for good in the insights industry. I think it makes it much better. Of course, there are concerns, but I think it makes it much better. For most of my career in insights, and my whole career has been in this space. The first, 2/3 or more of it were characterized by the fact that the insight space was always lagging behind technology-wise. It just wasn't as important as marketing, right? It followed marketing at bigger budgets, blah, 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 right? And so we kind of had the short end of the stick. Like outside investors weren't interested in putting in a ton of money to make a better data tables program, right? I mean, there were those out there, but everything was still kind of clunky. And so the profession of being a market researcher or consumer insights professional was really characterized by a lot of clunky stuff that you felt could be done a lot easier, right? And for so many years, people said, "Oh, I just wish that I didn't have to spend so much time doing this, so I could really spend more time thinking about what it all means, right? Thinking about the recommendations and how to make sure that these recommendations stick, and maybe some predictive piece to it. So the value added time. And I think that AI has really very quickly made a lot of functions a whole lot more efficient. Um, a lot of functions, not like job functions, but um, parts of the process,
Yeah.
a whole lot more efficient, easier to do. So you really can focus on the more value added things, and I think that's important. And then the big bonus is that AI can function as basically another analyst, right? Another point of view, especially when you're dealing with reams and reams of unstructured data that come from like qualitative research. It takes a long time to really sift through all of that, make heads or tails of it, and then distill it into something meaningful. AI does that very quickly. You don't want to necessarily rely upon it, but it's actually quite useful to look at for another point of view. Like, is there something I missed here? And so I think it makes our work by and large better and more efficient.
Right. What excites you about the most about market research?
Well, for me, it was as most people work in market research, consumer insights. I didn't set out to do so. I fell into it. And I took my very first job out of school working for a teeny tiny market research supplier called Anderson, Niebuhr and Associates in Minnesota, suburb of St. Paul. And I just remember one of the things I was doing was when I would get to work every day, I would open the mail from the previous day, and we were running a mail survey, right, for all of these healthcare clinics, a couple hundred clinics for a big healthcare provider, and it was patient satisfaction. And so I would open all these envelopes. I would key in all of the data, and then I would tabulate the data. And I had this realization that I was the first person in the world to know, which of these clinics were excelling, which ones were lagging. Before the CEO of the company, he's like, here's this guy right out of school. He's opening envelopes for like $9 an hour, right? And he is for a moment in time, it's like he is the one who knows it all. And I think like that excitement of discovery, and then also forming hypotheses and like, oh, I think it's going to be this, and then have those hypotheses upended or confirmed. It's that discovery of new knowledge, new to the world knowledge, that I have always found exciting, and it has always kept me going in this space.
Nice. And lastly, there's a lot of research companies that are struggling and have been struggling out there. Where do you see the future of the industry?
Yeah, I think there is no choice but to get on board with the technologies that are commonly available, right? So some people want to resist using tools like AI. You really can't do that as a company, even if you've been around for 50 years and this is the way you do it, blah blah blah. You're just not competitive if you don't employ those tools. I'm speaking now for like the classic full service research providers.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would say is you don't have to do it all yourself, right? So the industry has become super specialized. So it's less about everything you can build in-house, and more about the partnerships that you can develop. The other companies that can plug a hole that you have. So it's more like an ecosystem that you're running rather than a monolithic company that does everything itself. And just being open to those kinds of changes. If you really want to survive in this space, because a lot of buyers, as they're looking at your RFP against other RFPs, they can see and feel what feels old, right? And it starts to engender some lack of trust, I guess. If you're unwilling to get on board, it doesn't mean that you have to be bleeding edge and on the forefront of everything, but there's so much out there that can help you, and it behooves a company that wants to stay in business to employ those tools.
Always a pleasure talking with you, Matt. Where can people find out more about you?
Good question. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. That's probably the best way. You can find me. It's Matt Valle, Valle. Happy to connect there. That's a good starting place. If you're interested in the Rock and Roll Research podcast, you can search that up on any podcast platform that you use, or on YouTube, like yours. I follow yours on YouTube. I like to watch it rather than just listen. So, but either is fine. Find me there. Connect with me on LinkedIn, and happy to chat.
Thanks for doing this, Matt. It's been fun.
No, I appreciate it. Great to chat again. It's been a while. All right. We'll see you, Brian.
Take care.